All right, we are now live, Jim. Give me 1 second. Let me pull up chat, and then we will get this show on the road here. All right, here we are. Let me pull up chat. Oh, feedback. Okay, cool. All right, guys. So welcome in to Wade's Ventures YouTube channel. As promised, I've got an extremely awesome guest tonight. And I'm really excited to dive in deep and kind of learn about his reselling. And those of you who are joining, stand by because we've got an amazing show tonight. So that being said, Jim, why don't you introduce yourself, buddy? And we've got a lot of people watching now. So go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we'll shout out a few people.
Cool. Yeah, Wade, thanks for having me on. My name is Jim Butler. I have a reselling business that focuses on men's clothing. I've actually been a full-time reseller since December 2014 as my main source of income. And I'm always getting better at it. Every single day I'm learning new brands, and I'm growing, and always changing things up, experimenting with new things, which I'm sure we'll get into all that. But I'm really excited to be here. Thanks for having me on.
You're more than welcome. And we have some amazing people in chat. A lot of the people in chat know you already. So let's give a few shout outs. We have Mr. Pac-Man as the first in the chat. Sir Thrifts a lot. Always supporting me. I appreciate that.
Love that name.
Yes. Yeah. And then I got the next one, Sell Quick, Ship Quick. And I think that's such an awesome name too.
I have no cool brand name. I'm just Jim Butler. So that's how people can find me.
Yes. What do you think about this name, Jim? Grandma Wrinkles, amazing lady. Won a life box from me. I think that's really cool. Rita's in the house. Welcome, Rita. Jennifer says hello, Grandma. She is amazing. James Thrift, appreciate it, buddy, coming in. Sharon, Karen, and then we have Catherine. We also, man, it's just so many awesome people in here today. So let's get into it. We already have 30 watching. Hello, everybody. So here's the thing, right? So Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, I want to bring amazing resellers on my YouTube channel. I contacted Jim because he definitely has a YouTube channel, and it does a lot of men's clothing. I think that's something different than you guys have seen on here. So I want to ask Jim and unravel his amazing reseller, reselling tips and tricks and all that, and then ask him some personal questions. We'll also do a haul video towards the end of the video as well. So let's dig into it. Jim, are you full-time or part-time? You kind of said you're full-time.
Full-time. 100% full-time. I do have a rental property, which provides me some income, but I don't have any side jobs or anything like that. Yep.
Now, are you, how long have you been full-time? And the reason I asked full-time or part-time is I kind of want to know how long you've been full-time, and then how long were you part-time before you decided to go full-time?
Sure. I went part-time, really selling like part-time, in-depth part-time. I would say October 2013. And then about a year later, I quit my full-time corporate job in December 2014. And then I've had some other small jobs along the way, like very, very part-time. And then I did kind of dabble with Uber and Lyft for about 6 months in 2016. So I'm always doing a lot of different stuff, but that was only for 6 months, 2 years ago already almost. So that's what it is. I mean, it's full-time reselling, thrifting, picking, selling.
So that's awesome. I'm really curious because you've been doing it for a while, and I love to get people that have experience like you on the channel, because I think you can you definitely probably have some nuggets for us and some cool stuff to go over. So that's awesome. I wanted to also ask you, you left your corporate job. Was it kind of scary leaving your corporate job and kind of doing reselling full time?
It was a little scary, but I knew that I would do anything to make it work. So I was at a point in my job where it was just, I had many different jobs. I wasn't at one job for a long time, maybe 2 or 3 years max. And then I would move on to another job, and nothing was ever really the right fit. And then once I stumbled upon reselling, especially thrifting clothes and selling clothes, I loved it. And I just couldn't wait to dive into it and get into it. And I saw that the sales kept growing. and then getting closer and closer to what I was actually making. And then I was just like, I'm done. So I quit it exactly at the right time, fourth quarter, 2014, and the rest is history.
The funny thing is that's almost identical to my situation. We were talking before the show, and I'll be going full time here next week. And once you work on eBay enough, or it could be Poshmark or any platform, and you make it as much as your job, and you're doing it part time. Imagine what you can do full time. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, that's so true.
So, what state do you live in? The reason I ask this question is I'm curious to know where you thrift at. Not necessarily each location, but where do you thrift at, and what state are you living in?
Sure. Well, it's interesting because I actually started out in New Jersey in 2013, 14 when I started thrifting and selling on eBay. And in 2016, I made the move to Virginia. So you asked me if I was scared before. I was a little bit scared when I made the move from New Jersey to Virginia because they're two completely different areas in terms of population density, fashion, the closeness to New York City, all that stuff. But Richmond, Virginia is where I'm at, and I do most of my picking at, I would say, thrift stores. I really don't venture into the yard sales, the estate sales, the storage units, all that kind of stuff. I know about them, but there are so many thrift stores around here that I don't feel like I need to go anywhere else. I have been exploring like the Plato's Closets and things like that more recently, but I love thrift stores. I think it's just, it's the laziest way to go picking and the easiest way and the most efficient way.
I think that's really cool. I always envy people that do thrift stores because it's nice to go in there. You can take your time and go through all the inventory. It's a little different than storage units, and you know what you're buying.
Yeah, storage units scare me. Actually, that's like the most scare. Like I would never. I can't think about buying a storage unit sight unseen, just bidding on it online or going to the place and you open it up and it's got 5 things in it or something.
Yes.
But I think they give you a little bit of a preview in person, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
I've seen the shows.
Yep. And so here's the thing. So I'm curious, like before you were reselling, you do a lot of men's clothes, like pretty much all men's clothes, right? And so before you were reselling, did you have any knowledge in men's clothes, like before you started?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, that's why this was a perfect fit for me when I stumbled upon it. I've been into fashion. I don't really care what I look like now, but I got really into fashion at a pretty young age, was like subscribing and reading GQ in like high school and college and wearing suits to school and all these kind of things, spending a ton of money on clothes. And I always had a background in it, like ever since I was like 18. So I knew a lot of the brands when I started learning about reselling. And I already knew a lot of the brands. So it was pretty easy for me to just go to the thrift store and start picking up stuff.
Now, are you primarily selling? We'll get into this a little more, but are you selling vintage stuff, or what's the men's clothes you're typically selling?
I would say I'm pretty much the opposite. I try to get stuff like super recent. I'm not a vintage guy. That's one of the areas that I'm probably pretty weak in. But once in a while, I'll see a vintage piece and I'll just experiment with it. And I usually do pretty well. But for the most part, it doesn't really excite me that much. I like to get things as recent as possible, like from the last 2 or 3 years, really.
This is going to be an amazing interview, guys, because we're going to learn. I have so many good questions, but we're going to learn a lot because, it's nice to know what's in trend. And so it sounds like that's what you do for men's clothing right now. Like what's selling now, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would love to find the stuff that is like popular right now, but you have to there's a lag time with thrift stores. You have to wait. But I'm ready. I'm ready to get it whenever it shows up there. And that's why I said, that's why I've been delving more into Plato's Closet, places like Uptown Cheapskate, because they have more trendy, more recent items to buy and sell.
So we have almost 60 people watching. My next question for you is this.
Yeah.
How did you find out about eBay? How did you find out about reselling? Like, did you just stumble across somebody that sold online?
Yeah.
Like, how did you know that you can sell on eBay?
Well, I mean, there's 2 parts to this, really. I first started selling on eBay and Amazon, I would say 2002, 3, 4. I started selling, actually, I would say half.com, selling like college textbooks, CDs, things that just things I didn't need anymore. And also I started selling used stuff on Amazon back in like 04. I think I sold like One of the first items I sold was a used paper shredder that I didn't want anymore.
Oh, wow.
And so I found out about eBay pretty early on. My brother is a computer nerd. He does web development and programming. So I'm always up on tech stuff from him. So I've had my eBay account for quite a long time. But the second part to that is I got to give a shout out to Rake and Profit, of course, because I started obviously searching, Googling, selling on eBay. And I think he was one of the first things that came up. Or maybe he started Googling selling clothes on eBay, something like that. Probably selling on eBay. And his videos came up. I was hooked. I watched every single one, followed him from 2013 onward.
We have a cool, and guys, put in the chat if you guys have questions, because even though I'm asking him questions, I'll stop and ask some of yours. We got Rita in the house, and she said, lots of unique nuggets coming from Jim, so please hit the like button.
Awesome.
Yes.
Love those flowers in there.
I love the flowers.
I don't even know how to do that.
We
must be on the phone or something, I guess.
Guys, when we hooked up, and I said, hey, do you want to be on the show? He was like, well, okay, what do I need to be on the show? He does a lot of YouTube, and you guys will see that, because I highly recommend you subscribe to his YouTube channel. He's got a lot of content already there that you can sift through. But he was like, how do we go live? And so you guys are literally like, I have a list of questions here, and I've never sent him the questions. These are going to be all, of course, some of you viewers may know, but this is all unique stuff. So
yeah, I have no idea what you're going to ask me, because I haven't watched any of your other interviews or anything.
Yep. So it's gonna be good, guys. I'll make this one a good one, I promise. So what are your, for men's clothing, like what are you passionate about selling? Like, what's your favorite things to sell online? I know it's men's clothing, but
within that, yeah. I mean, within that, it's definitely going to be like, some people like jerseys, some people like, I don't know. I'm suits and blazers. Like, suits and blazers are still ridiculous in terms of profits, and they're just so like nice and luxurious. Like, you go to the thrift store and you can get an amazing suit for like $20. And some people might think that's a lot, but when you think about what you would pay for a really nice suit if you went to Nordstrom, maybe $1,000, maybe more, it's ridiculous. And that's what I love to sell the most. Suits and blazers. Do I wear them? Really? Hardly ever, but I don't have to, but I have an appreciation for them, definitely. The materials, all that stuff.
So we have a question for you. So do you watch Luke with Endless Entrepreneurs? Because he used to sell a lot of suits and blazers.
Yeah. I was watching Luke for a while. I haven't been for a while. Ever since I really started creating more and more content, especially like almost daily, I stopped watching other videos. I think that's what happens to a lot of people. Maybe not, but once you start creating it, it's like you really focus on that and not watching it so much. But yeah, I've seen many of Luke's videos.
Yep, and it comes down to, like, I would agree with you humbly, because what happens is when you as a content creator on YouTube, like, it takes a lot of time, and then you've got to like do your daily stuff. You've got to like do your eBay. You're doing that full time, and then family. I mean, it's just the time it takes is incredible. We do have a question from Pac-Man here. What's the most common suit blazer you find that's the best profits typically?
Generally, I would say common suit brand, I would say it's probably a tie between Hickey Freeman and Brooks Brothers. Hickey Freeman's a little bit more rare, but even more ubiquitous than that, surprisingly, Joseph A. Bank suits, you can get them very cheap, at least where I've been in New Jersey and Virginia. I'm still able to get them pretty cheap and sell them for pretty decent profits. They're not the nicest suits, but I think a lot of people can take that and use in most areas of the country. Joseph A. Bank suits. And the typical type of blazer that I look for is the dark navy blue ones with the gold metal buttons. I don't have one here, but I'm about to list another one tonight. Nice.
And now we have a question. Do you find that they're longtail, like, blazers, stuff like that? I mean, is it seasonal based? And then also, how do you store them?
Well, storing is very easy for me. It's not the best method, but it works for most things. I hang everything up pretty much. I use racks. I use closets, things like that. And the other question, I already forgot it. What was it?
Don't worry, I'll forgive you. This is your first
That's all right.
or with another person. But
yeah.
So is it long? Like, is there a season to sell?
Long tail, right. Seasonal or long tail. Clothing is long tail overall, especially suits and blazers. So what I found is that things are going to take 1, 2, or 3 months to sell. Actually, on average, if you run the game that I'm running, it's taking about on average 100 days to sell an item. Some stuff sells in a day, 7 days, but most stuff is going to take a month or sell the next month. So 60 days, I would say the bulk of stuff sells within 60 days.
So it sounds like you need a lot of inventory though to keep up. You know, if you only had like 100 or 200 listings, it'd be tough because the sell-through rate's not like extremely high. So you probably need quite a bit of inventory, right?
Exactly. Yeah, you really don't want to dip too low unless you have like all super like jackpot type stuff, which I don't. But yeah, it's requires constant feeding, that eBay beast.
Yes, feed the beast, guys. Feed the beast.
Exactly. Constant feeding. I recommend daily listing, and I try to list every single day.
Well, we have so Jane's Thrift asked, in your opinion, which is the better thrifting, Virginia or Jersey?
It's going to be New Jersey, hands down. I mean, I still go to New Jersey a couple times a year because I have family there, and every minute I'm not with them, I'm going all over the place to go to every single thrift store I can. New Jersey is just, you can't beat the population density, the amount of clothing that gets donated and comes from that. And then because there's so much clothing, it's so cheap. And plus the proximity to New York City and all the money and the wealth that's up there. It's just, I don't know if there's any better place actually. But so, I haven't been to the West Coast for thrifting, so I'm not sure about California. I know people that do very well out there.
So we have, I'm in Oregon, and I
was wondering. Okay,
I'm scared to like sell blazers, to be honest. Like I have one vintage Tommy Hilfiger that's been sitting there for a year, and
a lot of people are scared. I'm like, I try to tell people, don't be scared.
Well, I may be hitting you up a lot more then because I see people just crush it. We have another good question from the Reseller Killers. Oh my gosh, chat's flying here. Since you don't specialize in vintage, how do you stay up with current trends? Magazines or?
I just keep my eye on culture. Like, I mean, culture is always around us, right? When you go out to a restaurant, if I go out to a restaurant, I look at what people are wearing. If I'm at the post office, I look at what people are wearing. If I go to a wedding, a party, the grocery store, you know, I'm always looking at what people are wearing. So that's the best and easiest way. But yeah, you can look at magazines and stuff like that, you know, music videos. I'm just always observing people and what they're wearing.
So do you, so every time you see somebody with the suit or blazer on, are you like checking them out to see?
Oh yeah, totally. Totally. I'm looking at the lapel, you know, are the lapels like slim? Are they wide? And obviously now they're getting slimmer, you know, that's what people like. And I'm really big on record keeping. So every item I buy, I keep a record of it, when it sells, how fast it sells. And when stuff sells super quick, I take note of it and I'm like, okay, that sells super quick. That must be a hot item. And then I'll look more into it. But I do some research online when I thrift items. Like I'll look up style numbers and I'll see what other websites are selling it for and stuff like that. But yeah.
Okay, so let's dig a little deeper here. I'm really curious to see now. How are you married? Do you have any kids? Like, tell us a little bit about your family life.
Yeah, sure. I'm not married. I have a girlfriend. She lives here, and we have a dog. No kids.
No kid. See, yeah. Now I understand how you're so successful.
Yes,
you're not changing diapers.
I have a lot more time on my hands for myself, which you know is not everybody has that luxury, but I do. But I try to give back through my YouTube videos and stuff like that.
That's amazing. And do you have so I'm assuming what does your friends think? Like, you know, what's your friends think about you reselling? When you tell people you sell on eBay, like what's their first impressions?
Oh, a lot of stuff goes to their head, I'm sure, but they kind of think it's crazy. They kind of really what I see is people brush it off. People are just like, what I always say is people are like, oh, you're doing that eBay thing or something like that. And they don't realize the potential for it. Yeah, so they kind of brush it off. They don't take it that seriously, especially nowhere near as seriously as I take it. But that's what I see.
Do you ever have to kind of explain, like, I really do sell on eBay, like convince people?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, there some people some people I've actually gotten into it, and some people are very, very interested in it. So like when that happens, like we'll just kind of like separate ourselves at like a gathering or a party or something, and like it'll just be us talking one-on-one, and everybody else will be over here, and everybody else will kind of be looking over, and you know, that's kind of how it is. You don't hit everybody with it, but you know, you have that 1 in 10 people who really are interested in it, will like want to pick your brain as much as they can. But then if you're with other people, they kind of start looking at you too, like, you know, can we talk about something else? So, yeah.
Rita says,
I don't care. I talk about it. But actually, now that's one of the reasons why I started making YouTube videos, is because, you know, we're all kind of like lone wolves out here for the most part. We don't have like, you know, reselling groups of friends. So that's one of the reasons why I started doing this.
So I see you drinking water. Do you like, is health a big thing for you? Like, you know, obviously, and the reason I bring this up is you want to stay healthy because it obviously helps your productivity, right? Yeah,
totally. I mean, I'm if I wasn't doing reselling men's clothing, I feel like I would be doing something in the health field. Maybe I still will do that in the future, but I'm obsessed with health. Like, that's why I do reselling, because I can make my own schedule and I can take time to do what I want for my health.
Does your wife help you with the business? Or excuse me, your girlfriend?
My girlfriend does not help me, actually. You know, she used to help a little bit. She's in the other room probably listening to this, but she does not help. She used to help me pack up orders, but not so much anymore. She cooks though. She does all the cooking, and I have to give her props for that. I don't make any food.
What's one of the favorite things that she cooks that you like the most?
I would say eggplant parm. We eat mostly like vegetarian, like with fish. So we don't. I like to eat meat, but she doesn't eat red meat. So a lot of fish dishes, stuff like that.
So this is a great question. Flipping Daily asks, like, can you run through, maybe you can grab a blazer if you can, or maybe run through like how you do your measurements?
Yeah, sure. You know what? I'll grab a blazer right now. Let's see.
Good question, Flippin' Daily. Good question.
This is one of those blazers that I was talking about here. It has the navy blue with the gold tone buttons on it. So what you want to measure is the chest, which is the pit to pit, as they say, like that across, and the shoulder, which is basically this seam right here across. The sleeve is what I take right from this seam here all the way down to the edge. The rear measurement from the the rear measurement, people do it two different ways. They do it from the top of the collar all the way down, or you can do it from the bottom of the collar down. So I do it from the bottom of the collar down. And sometimes people do a waist measurement, which is right across this line of the pockets. And yeah, that's about it. A lot of people, also some people do the lapel measurement, which is how wide are the lapels. But I don't do that. I don't think that's too necessary. Well, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
It's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not too complicated or scary.
Now, do you sell? Are you selling like sets, like, you know, the slacks and everything else, or do you just kind of sell individually?
Oh yeah, I sell suits. I sell 2-piece suits, 3-piece suits if I can find them. But suits are probably the more rare item that I come across. Probably the most rare item. So that's like the least. It's the bulk of profits, but it's the least number of listings in my store.
So Rita, I just asked, I just started buying men's clothing brands. What should I look out for? Like what type of good brands? You already mentioned 2. Do you have any others by chance?
Oh man, there's a jillion. I guess a brand that is a really good brand, and it's pretty rare, but if you go picking enough, you will eventually find it. You will eventually find a suit. in most areas, most big city, big suburban areas. Canali makes really nice clothing. They make shirts and dress pants and ties, but their suits do very, very well. Canali.
Amazing.
You wanted another brand. I mean, there's so
Yeah.
many. I'm trying to think of a brand that does very well and it's pretty mass produced. Actually, I do pretty well with J. Crew.
Wow.
It's a pretty mass produced brand, but they make some nice clothing, and if you get the nicer pieces from them, you can do pretty well.
So real quick, I always take feedback, right? And all my audience, we've got almost 80 people watching. They always ask,
that's amazing.
yes, they're always ask, hey, you know, I got here late. Can you please have them introduce themselves again? Do you mind doing that?
Not a problem. My name is Jim Butler. I am a full-time reseller of men's clothing, and I've been doing this full-time since December 2014. I'm coming to you live from Richmond, Virginia on the East Coast, and happy to be here with Wade. Ask a question in the chat if you have one.
There you go. Alexander says, thanks for having yet another awesome person on the show, Wade. Love the diversity. I caught a few of his vids. Great content. Yes. Guys, if you haven't checked out his YouTube channel, I'm about to blow you guys up in chat with the link. Make sure you subscribe. That's the point of these videos, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. I want to see everybody succeed on YouTube. And in fact, if you're in chat and you have a YouTube channel, or you're looking to grow a YouTube channel, or even start a YouTube channel, you're welcome to put your YouTube channel name in chat so other people can then subscribe. And we have Farm Girl Scavenger. She is amazing. We'll definitely do a storage unit together. She's local to me. Hopefully you're doing awesome, Farm Girl. And
I just saw that. That's cool. I love the emojis, the tractor, and the
no, she's super kind, super kind. She was actually my first interview I ever did on YouTube.
Oh, cool.
Just really, really cool lady. So, all right. So the chat has asked you an amazing amount of questions, and Wade hasn't asked you an amazing amount yet. So let me ask you, what platforms are you primarily on eBay, or are you on any other platforms?
I am primarily on eBay, but this year I've gone everywhere almost. I am now on Poshmark. I'm on Grailed. I'm on Mercari. I am on Tradesy. I experimented with Depop, and I still have some listings up there, but I stopped listing on Depop recently.
And we have a good question. Do you find that there's a lot of returns? What's your return rate typically for men's clothing?
Yeah, my return rate has gone up. It's about, I think, 5.5% right now, which is still really, really low, I think, overall. If you like look at the big picture and how many like items are going out every day, it's a pretty small number. But I think when I first started out, it was 2 and 3%, but that's because I was selling very lower dollar items, $20 items, $25 items, $15 items. Most people aren't going to take the time and worry about getting their $15 back. But now I'm selling a lot higher end, higher dollar items. So the return rate has gone up, but I think it's still pretty low at 5.5%.
We have a good question. Do you mind reading that out? It's from Fade.
Fate or faded question. What does it mean when you find a blazer with a designer name but tailored by somebody else? I.e., I found a Burberry suit in the blazer, it says tailored by Rick's Men's Shop. Value decrease. No, you know, fate or faded, that simply means who is retailing the suit. You'll see brand names on one side of the blazer, and then on the other side there will be the store name, basically. So there's a lot of fine men's stores out there. There used to be a lot more. But that's all that is. It's like, you know, Jim's Men's Shop, and I'm selling a Brooks Brothers or a Burberry suit. That's all it really is.
So Farm Girl asked a question. Maybe you know a little bit about that.
Jim, have you heard? Yeah, that's great. They have chilled out. That's great. A lot of people like that video. That was awesome. They've been good, I think. You know.
What's that video they're talking about?
Oh, I'm a pretty silly guy, and I do a lot of impressions. And my girlfriend just started recording me one night in between listing, I was doing an impression of my downstairs neighbor because we live in an apartment complex and the walls are kind of thin here. So one day we had a little knock on our door, and my neighbor was just asked us to keep it down. But I hope he can hear me. I don't know how loud I am, but he's from Long Island, so I do like a Long Island accent. No offense to anyone there, but I just did a little impression of him.
Nice. He's probably gonna go on your YouTube and watch that video, probably.
I hope he does. He might come across it. Oh man.
All right. So what's your 2018 goals, Jim? Like where do you see yourself the remaining part of the year? Do you have any goals to kind of amp it up, for 2018?
I really want to build like more and more. I'm getting into Poshmark. I'm getting like super excited about Poshmark, and I can't believe I skipped out on it for the last couple of years, even though I knew about it. I really want to build up my Poshmark store and just continue to make more and more sales there. I want to continuously thrift better items. Like it's hard, right? You go thrifting, you buy all this stuff. It's fun to buy stuff, but it's not fun when you watch that stuff being sold for $20 or whatever, a low amount, So I'm really trying to buy better and better stuff, buy fewer items, list fewer items, really. I'm not trying to have 10,000 items in my store. It would be great to have 10,000 Canali suits, but I really just want quality, and rare items. So
Pac-Man said, do you do everything out of your apartments, or do you have like an office space?
I do everything out of this other bedroom, the spare bedroom. I have a 2-bedroom apartment, and everything is pretty much crammed into closets, racks. My own personal closet has suits in it that I'm selling. So yeah.
So Flippin' Daily asked a good question. Man, first off, guys, these questions, this is the first interview with Jim that I think I've had this many questions. And it's refreshing. It's really cool. That's why I wanted to have him on here, pick his brain. So we have a question, increased sales. So basically Flippin' Daily is asking you, like, since you've been on these other platforms, what percentage do you think your sales have increased? Like, if you were to say like eBay was like 70% and Posh is like 10, 15, like what's the increase in sales?
Right now, I think it's maybe 15 or 20% increase in sales. As far as the terms of like number of sales, that hasn't gone up that much, but the profit per item has, like, as I keep track of that, that's one of the numbers I really focus on. That has been jumping up very quickly because these other platforms don't take as much in fees, and I can also get much higher prices for stuff on there. So that's what I've really noticed.
Let's see what sort of work were you doing before? So Catherine asked, what sort of work were you doing before reselling? And if you weren't doing reselling now, you kind of mentioned you'd be in the medical field, but what would you be doing? What's your all-time job if you didn't have to go to school for it?
Oh man, if I did I would want to help. I don't have a specific title, but I would want to help people get healthier. I don't really know what that shape or form that would take, but I would love to help people be healthy. I don't know if that would be a specific strict medical doctor wearing a white coat, but I would love to do that. That would be a dream job. I've had every kind of job you can imagine, from doing inventory in clothing stores to working at a juice bar at a health food store to selling windows to selling solar. So yeah, I've been all over the place. Was there a point in your life that you were not healthy? I'm just really curious. Yeah, I would say like after college, things got a little bit out of hand as far as drinking alcohol and things like that. But not really unhealthy, but okay. I'm not as healthy as I am now.
Because I'm not healthy at all, and I need to get in that kick.
Nah, you're not. You don't look that bad.
So Fade has another great question. I'm gonna let you take this one.
Sure. Fade or Faded. I love that name. Found a blazer with no name label. I didn't recognize it, but it said Fabric by Canali. Is that Canali with 2 L's? Would that be considered a Canali blazer? We do mainly vintage. I've never seen Canali with 2 L's. Are you spelling it right? So sometimes these brands, Zegna and maybe even Canali, they do just their fabric. If it doesn't have the Canali tag on it, which is that rectangle, the blue, it's spelled in capital letters Canali. If it's not that, then it's most likely not a Canali item.
How has reselling changed your life? And that's a good question I like to ask. Like I know for me, it's going to be giving me more time with the family. Like, how's it changed your life for you and your girlfriend and your dog?
Yeah, just more freedom. I mean, if I want to take my dog for a walk at 11 a.m. or in the afternoon, I can do that, or even at 9 a.m. when normally I would be going to work. Just the freedom of making my own schedule. Like sometimes I'll be working late at night, but then I won't have to get up early in the morning. Or sometimes I take a day off during the week, where if you have a job, you can't just take a day off. And then I'll work a Saturday, a Sunday. The days of the week don't matter so much as they used to.
What's a day in the life of you? Like, tell us, like, do you have set days that you thrift? And like, how does that work for you? Like when you're working, like,
yeah,
give us that.
It's pretty late. It's pretty laid back. I mean, there's no specific schedule. I try to keep a handle on thrift stores and see where their big sales are going to be. That's when I try and go. Obviously, Salvation Army Wednesdays, I try to get there on Wednesdays. But, you know, obviously orders have to get out every day. Well, not Sundays, but every day orders have to get out pretty much first thing. And then listing has to get done. But I like to break up my listing. So what I'll do is I'll draft my items, a group of items, then I'll photograph my items, and then I'll actually sit down and do the whole uploading and the listing. So I'll break that into 3 parts.
Now, do you use I'm assuming you use a dress form mannequin, right, to take the blazer pictures?
You know, I have one, and I used to use one, but I do not. I do flat lay now. It's actually easier for me. I don't have to worry about where the mannequin is, the lighting. I find that taking stuff on and off, and I don't find it necessary, actually.
Huh? Really? So
I mean, it looks great. Dress form mannequins, and I still have one. I use it for long coats and things like that, but I don't think it's necessary. It looks great. I mean, some people do really nice pictures with their suits and blazers with mannequins, but you know, if it's not necessary, I'm not going to do it.
That's interesting, because guys, if you're doing, you know, suits, blazers, stuff like that, you don't necessarily need to, you know, it sounds like use a dress form. Like, you know, you can sell a lot with just flat lay. That's really cool.
I've been doing better with my suits since I started doing flat lay. I basically lay the pants down next to the jacket, and I fold the jacket in half. And this is what stores do. Stores don't use mannequins all the time. So I'll lay the jacket like this, nice and neat, and then the pants will be right next to it, so they can see both of the items in the main thumbnail picture. Huh? Yeah, it comes out pretty well.
That's a good tip.
Yeah,
that's a really good tip.
Yeah.
All right.
As long as you have as long as you have lighting is like 90% of the battle for pictures, really. If you have the lighting right, then everything's good. Doesn't matter what camera you're using, or, you know, what photo editing tool. You don't even need that.
So we have Liz in the chat, and Liz asks, now, are you comfortable giving your Poshmark closet out?
Yeah, sure. If I know it, I think it's at or the Curated Clothier. I'm looking it up right now on my phone. But yeah, no, it's at Curated Clothier, which is, if you Google that, everything comes up, and that's my name everywhere. So I try to be all fancy with the brand name.
So we have Flippin' Daily asks, what type of camera do you use, or do you use your phone?
I use my phone. I use a Samsung Galaxy S6 from 2015.
Interesting. And that works perfectly fine for you, right? Because I use my phone too.
Yeah, it works amazing. And the cameras on these smartphones today are ridiculous.
Yeah, we have Barry's in the chat, and he said, great flat lay tip, Wade. Good flat lay tip, Wade. You shouldn't have to keep putting underwear on your mannequin. And
I saw your setup, the mannequin, the lighting. It looks great. It looks amazing.
Yeah, I had to put underwear on him because it's really awkward if I don't for some reason. Like, why did they do that on a mannequin? I guess, I don't know. Like, the guy's got the goods. So I'll let you take Faded's question again.
All right, how do you ship blazers? I've only sold two and saw a video about turning them inside out and popping the shoulders. This is the best way. You know, to be honest, most of the time I'm using, this is not the right way. I'm using legal flat rate envelopes. You can fold them 6 or 9 times, but I never get any complaints about it, so I haven't changed that method. I'm using legal flat rate envelopes, but honestly, you really want to be more professional and use regional rate A boxes or even medium flat rate boxes, which do cost a little bit more. And you know, I'm folding them 3 or 4 times actually, but there's no way to get around folding blazers. What I would recommend this, if you're folding blazers, you don't want to have the buttons on the outside because they can crack. So you want to make sure when you pack the item, the buttons are inside, so they have a little bit of padding, meaning that the fabric is around the buttons.
By the way, guys, I just put his YouTube channel in the chat, so make sure you subscribe to him. Blow his phone up. All right, so don't you love Poshmark shipping?
I love it. It's ridiculously easy and ridiculously profitable. I mean, I got to shout out a viewer, Susanna, helped me so much by suggesting that I sell on there. And in that moment, I was just like, yes, I'm going to sell on there. I opened an account. I started, and I heard about Poshmark years ago. I don't think they were allowing men's clothing a couple of years ago. And then I kind of just forgot about them. But then I get so many good tips from my viewers as I give them tips. So it's so cool.
Flipping Daily, I'm not too sure. Explain. Do you want to put your question again? I may have missed it. So I have a question. So do you ever get people to rent blazers from you and then just return it on eBay? Like, what's your return policy that you have?
I have a pretty generous return policy. It's 60 days, and I think I do get returns, rented suits. I call it rent a suit, and rented blazer, more so suits, I think. But you know, I think maybe people just, if they don't like the fit of it, they send it back. Sometimes I think people do rent it. There's no way to tell really, but you know, that's just part of the game. I have sold one Canali suit 3 times now, and it's been returned 3 times. So it does happen, but that's something like that is extremely rare.
And you can't base your business off of like returns or, you know, people that scam or anything like that. You just have to, and the way I think about returns, because do you know, I mean, I'm sure you've kind of read a little bit about the new, you know, stuff that eBay is rolling out, how they want. What's your take on that?
Well, I call it the Amazonification of eBay. I think eBay is pretty much trying to copy Amazon, which is smart for them because Amazon is just winning so much. So we're going to see more changes in the future having to do with that. And, you know, people want returns. People want everything to be easy and everything to be no commitment, really. So there's no commitment in today's world. You don't have to commit to an item. You don't have to commit to a sale. And that's just what we're moving towards. So it's okay. Just click buy. If you don't like it, just put it in a box and send it on back. That's how it goes. But, you know, hopefully if we're all focusing on, like I said before, really, really good quality stuff that people really, really want, then your returns aren't going to be that bad.
And do you, so another question by Sharon is, oh, wait, never mind. By Natalie, I apologize.
Yeah.
Do you have restocking fees right now?
I see that. I've never used a restocking fee, and I don't. I felt when I was first starting out, I felt that it would turn people off, and then I never experimented with it. Should I? I mean, I really don't get that many suits returned. Most people buy a suit from me, and I think they really, really like it, and they just can't believe the deal they're getting. That's what I feel. Do
you happen to know Liz's question by chance?
The doeskin fabric. I saw this pop up on a video I think that I did. I still, I mean, is that like the the skin of a deer. I have no clue. Is that like literal deer skin? I don't know. That's what I think it might.
Yeah, it could be. I bet it is probably good fabric if it is.
I mean, if it's legitimate deer skin, you might be looking at a really, really high priced item there, possibly. I don't know.
So we chat is moving here. So question: by helping others learn to resell different things, are you afraid of having them flood the market with competition? And I'll let you answer that, and then I'll answer that as well.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably a big follower of Gary Vee. I follow Gary Vee for a long time, and I agree with him. Is he's putting information out there, all kinds of awesome tips every day for people to use, and he tells people that I do this because 90% of you aren't going to do it, and I feel the same way. I mean, I'll tell everything, and I'm not going to be scared about it because number one, I'm always getting better, so I'm always moving on to the next thing. And number two, most people aren't going to use it. I mean, most people just aren't going to do it. And no offense to anybody. I mean, I think we can agree that they're not going to take action.
I think
I hope they do. I hope people do.
100%. 100%. What's the best fabric, cotton, wool, or silk?
Cotton, wool, or silk. Out of those three, I would go with silk. If I had to pick one, but I mean, you know, they all have their uses. They all have, it depends on the item, but silk, it would be the rarest and the most luxurious.
Yes, I would agree. I had a question. I forgot to ask you. Somebody asked, I apologize, guys. Do you sell ties?
I do, but I'm really moving away from ties as they take forever to sell, and most of them just don't sell that well. So I don't care if I can get ties for $1 all day long. If it's not a Hermes tie or a Charvet tie, I'm probably not that excited about it. Sometimes I find a new tie, like a new Brooks Brothers tie, and I'll probably buy it.
Nice. We have Harts Pickers, guys. Really great YouTube channel. Go check him out.
There he is, Ronnie.
Ronnie, yes. And then we have. So, do you get any other clothes by chance? Do you sell any other clothes?
Any other clothes?
Yeah. So anything like, do you sell just t-shirts? You know, anything other than blazers?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'll sell you know, everything from belts and ties to shorts, swim trunks. I do very well with ski pants, anything snow or ski related, dress shirts, dress pants, jeans, everything. Not so much t-shirts though. I really don't thrift too many t-shirts nowadays because it's just too many to look through. You know, it's just, I mean, I would love to find vintage concert t-shirts all day long, but you gotta weigh the probability of finding that.
Yes. What? Okay. So that being said, I think this is a really important question. I want to kind of dive in a little bit on your YouTube channel and social media for you.
Yeah,
so
sure.
how has social media changed your life, both on the YouTube side, the Instagram side, the learning side? Like, just tell me a little bit about how social media has changed your business.
It's changed my business because I wouldn't be on Poshmark probably in these other sites if it wasn't for the viewer giving me that tip. And a lot of other little tips. Like, I mean, a viewer gave me this tip, sent me a Facebook message and told me about these customs forms labels. They're really, they say, the USPS says these are just for customs, but you can order these online and you can use them for your Poshmark labels or any kind of priority labels, and you won't really get any kickback from it, from the USPS. So little tips here and there my viewers give me every single day. It's just amazing. We
have another question here. Hey, Wade, I'm watching from the TV. Is this family friendly? And it absolutely is family friendly. So that's awesome. That's really cool.
I don't curse. I really don't even really curse in my personal life for the most part.
I'm going to give you guys a wave. That's really cool. You're watching on the TV. That's awesome.
That's cool.
So tell us a little bit about your YouTube. Like, when did you start it? Like, do you have a schedule? How do you put out content? Like, I want to really know about your YouTube channel.
Yeah, sure. I had a channel in the past. I started putting out videos on whatever came to my mind in years ago, but then I really started doing reselling men's clothing videos I really started doing it seriously about a year ago. And then from there, just doing it more and more often to the point where now my goal is to do a video every single day. Does it happen every day? Not so much, but that is my goal. And I also post everywhere else. I post on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, everywhere you can think of. Pinterest.
What's your, for those of you who are watching, I keep putting his link for YouTube, but what's your other social medias? Is it the same name?
Yeah. If you look up Curated Clothier or The Curated Clothier, pretty much I'm going to come up. I think I pretty much have that brand name locked down. So all my stuff will come up. Yep.
Now,
don't search Jim Butler, because there's 80,000 Jim Butlers out there.
I was just going to say something.
Yeah.
So give us some nuggets here. This is the good part. This is right when we're in the haul video. Like, give us some stuff that you think will help people sell on eBay, whether it's blazers or whatever the case may be. Give us a few of those bad boys.
All right. What you want to look for is clothing that really pops. And I know we're probably going to get to this in a minute, but I'll just kind of jump ahead. This is a shirt that I recently picked up. And you can just see it. I mean, this thing just pops. You want to get clothes that catch your eye. When you're at the thrift store, you can go down the racks and you can see a million browns and beiges, and those are good colors and they do sell, but you really want to look for colors that pop out of your eye, colors that say, you know, if you were wearing it, if you're a guy, if you were wearing it, you would get compliments on it. That's what I look for. You know?
Stitch says, we need nuggets.
Yeah, I mean, slim fit clothing does very well. That is the trend. But the bigger suits, the bigger, what I call the poofier suits, still sell. But the modern trend, today's millennial, if you want, somebody in his 20s, even 30s, is looking for a slim fit suit, something that like James Bond would be wearing in one of the movies that's come out recently.
I think it's really cool. You got Liz in the channel, and
yeah, and slim fit jeans, skinny jeans. I don't know why, but they're so ridiculously popular.
And we have so it looks like, do we sell any vintage men's clothing? Do you sell any vintage blazers by chance?
I'm sure I come across them here and there, some Harris tweeds, but I don't really focus on them that much. I pass them up because I just don't know that much about it. Sometimes I'll see a vintage shirt, like something that'll look like it's from out of Mad Men, because I've watched a lot of Mad Men. So I'll sell some shirts from there here and there if I see them, and they sometimes sell pretty quickly, actually.
Liz says, "Hey Ronnie from Harts Pickers, longtime viewer of your channel."
Awesome.
So the cool thing is we want to just share the love. I want to share the love in this community. I would love to just, you know, have everybody be on YouTube. I think there's plenty of room. And I want to ask you a question. Give us like 3 or 4 of your, I know that you're busy and you're doing YouTube constantly now, but give us a few of your you know, YouTubers that you like watching.
Well, I'm very inspired by Ronnie Hart. I don't really watch too much YouTube anymore, but like I said, I was very inspired by Stephen Reagan Prophet, Ronnie Hart, also Mike at Global Voodoo. I really started out watching those guys. From time to time, I'll pop in and watch their videos here and there. Luke with Endless Entrepreneurs and what he's doing. Once in a while, I'll watch those videos. So that's 4, I think.
Yep.
Honestly, with YouTube videos, not just resellers, I watch a lot of prank videos. I like to watch a lot of humor videos. So things like that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we'll have to talk about, we got to keep this reseller, you know, friendly, but there was some fun stuff.
Yeah, sure.
Pineapples, nothing out of the ordinary. It's about Nutella and some cool stuff. But Pineapple says, you mentioned navy blue blazers, but any other styles or colors that you go for? Sounds like stuff that pops. Any other good ones to go for?
Yeah, believe it or not, I mean, I don't think I'd be caught dead wearing one, maybe on St. Patrick's Day, but green jackets, light green blazers do very, very well. I rarely find them, but they do pretty well. Anything from like a light green to a darker green, more of the Augusta's Masters type golf tournament color, those do very well also.
Now, do you actually like have a relationship with the employees at the thrift stores? Like, do they know you're the blazer guy?
Some of them know me. they know what I do, but not, I wouldn't say I have a relationship with them. There's so many Goodwills around here. I don't even think Goodwill knows. Some Goodwills follow me on social media, but when I go into the Goodwill store, the employees, they don't know who I am. There's so many employees and there's so many Goodwills are in my area.
Now, regarding your YouTube, right? You obviously enjoy doing it. I've seen, one thing that I want to say that I really like about you is, I think it was recently, but you always put out your numbers, what you sold, and do a video on that.
Yeah.
Really,
I don't know if I'll do that forever, but I do it. I do it for now because I think it's super real, and I hope people can relate to it. And it also helps keep me accountable, and always helps me keep me striving for more.
Yeah, have you found that being online does keep you on, like you're working harder because people are following you?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like when I hate having a slow sales day, but with clothing, it's kind of like this. So when I have a slow sales day, I'm just like, I'm almost embarrassed, but I mean, that's just how clothing goes.
So Pac-Man said, let's get this man over 1K subs. I would humbly agree. Everybody in this chat, there's 61 of you guys. I've been advertising it throughout this whole video. Like, click that link, subscribe. And so every creator, like Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, I invite everybody from the community, no matter if you have 1 follower, 5 followers, 10 followers, doesn't matter to me, and I'll have you on. For you, though, what you said you're going to do it daily. Is it like, when can people expect content from you? Sounds like every day or every other day?
Every day. I mean, if you want to follow me on Instagram, I'm constantly posting on Instagram, constantly posting on Snapchat. But as far as YouTube videos, really 6 days a week at least. I mean, I'm just really, really dedicated to that. I like reviewing. I mean, it's always easy to review what's sold, so I do that a lot of the time. And then 1 day a week, I'll review my weekly sales. And then, I'll do a thrift haul maybe once a week, hopefully, or once every other week. So it all gets filled in. And then nowadays, as things get bigger and more questions start to come in, I'll do viewers' questions.
And so we have another one here.
Yep.
Another question. So Barry, by the way, and I could be wrong, Barry, I was creeping on your Instagram, I think for St. Patty's Day. And he was man, you're going to have to tell me, Barry. I don't know. But I think he wore a green suit. Anyways, he asked, do you have any of those light green jackets that you can show? I'm assuming you probably don't have any, but
I wish. Barry, and guys, they sell so quickly. Like, I remember the last time I found one, sometime last year, and it sold within a week. And that's really fast for a blazer to sell. I mean, I wish I should have raised the price up.
Deal says, I just subbed. He's at 910. So guys, if you're not, and if you're not watching this live, I will put all the information below for Jim. So I'll put his link as the #1 link. Click it, sub, and then continue to watch the video. Cool. I would love to see him over 1K. That would be amazing. Yeah. So let's do this haul video. This is the best part. Show us a few items that you thrifted and kind of like your thought process when you picked them up.
Sure. I got 4 items here. And the first one, we have a Southern Tide shirt. Southern Tide, there's the tag. This is a similar brand to Vineyard Vines. Nice dress shirt, size XL, which is a better size. It has the little fish logo. People like the logos, you guys know. Very nice color scheme, blue checked with a little bit of green. And just a lot of good things going for this. It's also in mint condition, so that doesn't hurt. And these shirts really pop out to the eye. They really look great in the pictures, and people love them. The brand isn't as hot as it used to be, but still does pretty well. This niche item I do pretty well with. It is a vest or a waistcoat. The brand isn't that good. It's Tommy Hilfiger. But it has a nice herringbone, kind of like a tweed material, wool blend. I do very well with some vests, especially the wool ones. So this should be pretty good. This is a size large.
Does your girlfriend know about blazers? Like, can you guys talk blazer talk?
I wish. No, I don't. Well, actually, I mean, she definitely recommends that I always try to get the slim fit stuff because she notices that. So she knows a little bit about it. We don't talk about it that much, actually. But this is a women's item here. I didn't know it was, but it was in the men's section. This is a J. Crew women's turtleneck, and it's a size XL. I thought it was a men's, but I looked it up, and it came out to be a women's. So turtlenecks are one of those items for men that do pretty well, actually. They're kind of another niche item. And then the last one, I have a kind of like an outdoor type jacket, soft shell jacket from Mountain Hardware. And this is a nice jacket, lightweight and size large, black.
Is that fleece?
It's not fleece. It's kind of like that stretchy. They call it soft shell. North Face makes these. I think Patagonia makes these. It's not like that fuzzy kind of fleece. It's more like smooth. But it should do pretty well. Their stores online are selling this new for $80. So
that's a good pickup. I forgot to answer this question. I apologize, guys. I tried to get to all of them.
Yeah.
But somebody wanted to ask, what type of dog do you have, and what's the name of your dog?
Her name is Eden the Westie. She is a West Highland White Terrier, and she is 7 months old. We got her in October. We used to have another Westie that passed away last summer.
Do you mind if we see her? I know you put her away, but
I can go grab her. Yeah, let's see.
Catherine's really
right back. People love the dog. I'll be right back.
Guys, I'm telling you right now, you definitely need to subscribe to his YouTube channel. Mom, well, I know you're from Oregon. We should definitely get some lunch sometime. That would be amazing. I do want to let you guys know, and I'm kind of curious to see who in chat is going to eBay Open. I ask this every video. So let me know if you guys are going to eBay Open. I really would like to get together with you guys.
And we are. Look at the camera, Eden. Say hi. This is my dog. And she's a real good dog. She's a real cutie.
She is extremely good looking.
Yeah, she's good. She gets a nice long walk every day. It calms her down, and she's just kind of relaxed right now. She was looking out the window. She looks out the window for about 90% of the day, and then sleeps the other 10%.
Do you guys, looks like she needs like trims and stuff for her fur?
Yeah, she does need haircuts. Yeah, so that's one thing she needs. We try to keep her short, but her hair's growing pretty quickly, actually.
Lisa says, "Oh my God, I love this doggy."
Yeah, she's awesome. Westies are great. They're very good watchdogs. They're very playful. They're good.
Does she shed at all on your blazers?
She sheds a little bit, so I don't let her get too close to the clothes. But yeah, she shouldn't shed that much.
Oh, that's amazing. Everybody's saying how cute. That's why I had to bring the dog out here. I know that's gonna give me a few extra thumbs up.
Oh, I love it. People love it. I bring her on my videos once in a while. People really love her. So
it looks like I had to try it. I had time to try.
You tired?
Yes. It's funny that you would say that, Ronnie, because people don't know this, but
Can I get antsy here?
Oh yeah. I get really bad. I do really bad in planes. Like I get really bad anxiety in planes. It's not like landing; it's taking off that gets me for some odd reason. It's really weird. So but we're in Oregon, so I'm probably just gonna take a plane because it's an hour and a half away.
This is a funny joke, but I'm really bad with snakes on a plane.
Snakes on a plane. I don't get it yet, but give it a couple seconds.
The movie?
Oh, yes. Yes. I get it now.
That's a throwback, yeah, from a while ago.
I actually never seen that. I didn't watch that movie, but I know exactly what you're talking about. Let's see. Everybody's saying possibly eBay Open. That's awesome. What do you think about eBay Open, Jim? Would you be up to going?
eBay Open, is that in like September in the fall or something? Is that every year?
It's July 24th.
July. I'm not that pumped up for it. I don't think I would go. I mean, if I won a complete all expenses paid, I would go. But
I just like to go to gamble. We have a question from Mom.
I saw the tips on the picture or something.
Yes. Can you show the audience your looks like 2-tier rack? to your left again.
Let's pan over here. I love this rack. I got it on Amazon. It was like 95 bucks shipped, and it's commercial, and it's really, really good. It's really high quality. It made the move. It broke down pretty easily, and still here, still doing well. So I definitely recommend the. I don't have an affiliate link, but I need one. But yeah, I love it.
I want to go to Vegas
too, but I don't roll it around.
Pac-Man, I'm game on that. So guys, let's give it about 4 to 5 more minutes. And if you guys have questions, please put it in chat for both myself and Jim.
Yeah, ask questions.
And let's do a little Q&A. But I'm super excited because I was telling you before the show, I want to have you. We had you on tonight, and in a month I would love to have you back on just to kind of see how things are going. I think it's so super cool to do interviews because you have 2 people giving a dialogue. It's not as boring in a lot of people's eyes. So, Poshmark, are you a Poshmark ambassador yet in Poshmark?
I am not. There's a lot of, I think, sharing requirements and selling requirements. And I haven't even like set up a system to where I'm going to get there. But I've been following people like crazy, and I've been sharing like crazy every spare couple minutes that I get, but I'm not there yet.
A little tip on the sharing that somebody told me, I can't remember, an amazing viewer of mine said that what you can do is, first of all, share on your computer. And then on your computer, you can zoom or basically zoom out of your web browser so you can see more inventory to click it. So you don't have to scroll down constantly.
Oh, so, yes, I know how to do that. That's super smart. That's so cool.
Yes. So
it makes it look like you have a big monitor, but everything's smaller. That is an awesome idea.
Yeah, that way you can click, because you know it kind of gets daunting like scrolling down. So just zoom out so you can see a ton of it. Just it's crazy.
I love that. I love that. I'll make everything like minute.
So, Jim, how many items do you list a day?
My goal is to list 5 to 10 items every single day. That's 7 days a week. So I don't really take a day off.
Let's see. Another question. Do you do storage lockers? He doesn't, but he does do a lot of thrift stores.
Yeah. Storage lockers scare me, but you know, down the road, I'm not going to say I'll never try it. I like to try everything at least once.
Oh yeah. They're fun. Can you list a few of your, so it sounds like you go to Salvo, Salvation Army, and Goodwill. Is there any other thrift stores that you would typically go to that are like corporate?
Yeah, I really like Plato's Closet. They're not really a thrift store. They're kind of in between consignment and thrift. So Plato's Closets are great. They're pretty much all around the country. Uptown Cheapskate is kind of like a copy on Plato's. They're coming up. They are a really nice consignment thrift store type thing. They're really good too. I like them.
Yeah, I don't do a lot of Plato's yet, but I definitely should because I see some good stuff out of there. Jim, do you do estate sales or yard sales?
That is a great question, and I should do estate sales because I'm sure they're pretty good in this area, but I do not. I don't do any yard sales. I don't like looking through stuff that isn't clothing. So, you know, when I go to the thrift store, I don't even see anything else other than the men's section. But estate sales can be good for men's clothing, and I really should just try out a couple.
It sounds like we have a really good Poshmark tip. Do you see that?
Sharing is 10 times faster on iPad? Or
the next one below that.
Play secret posture games to increase your followers. They're newer and different from regular fall games. I don't know what secret posture games is. Is that an app? Is that a game? Like
that's the thing, is I don't know either. And I think
what is secret posture games? Is that like a game you can
wait? I think I've seen people do that. I'm super new at Poshmark, but I've seen people do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I only have 114 items on there, but I posted 22 items on Poshmark today.
Yeah, it's super fast to list. I love that site. I mean, you can list 10 items in 10 minutes almost.
Oh yeah. And for you, Jim, how does it work? So you do eBay, and then do you just go to Poshmark, copy and paste basically, and then upload the photos on your phone?
Yep. Actually, I do everything on the desktop on the computer because it's easier, and then I list to a couple other places as well, which we didn't really get into. But I also list on Grailed and Mercari and Tradesy.
Can you go over those three real quick for us? Like, what's your experience with those platforms?
Yeah, basically, really quickly, Grailed is the niche site for only men's clothing and only really hot, really trendy men's clothing, streetwear, stuff like that. Mercari is like the copy of eBay. I think there's a lot of different stuff on there, but it's growing. It seems to be getting a lot of attention, especially on mobile. And then what was the other one? Tradesy is a much smaller site. It's more geared towards women's clothing and handbags. So if you guys out there sell women's clothing or handbags, I would definitely take a look at Tradesy. But they're not too big on men's clothing. It's kind of just an experiment for now. I might cut that out.
Well, I always want to see if we can learn some new stuff on here. And I just want to say I really appreciate you coming on board. Guys, hit the thumbs up button below so that way it doesn't give us creators any money, but it just throws this out to more people on the YouTube. And I want more people to discover his YouTube channel. He's got an amazing amount of content and definitely needs to have more subscribers than he does, because at the end of the day, I've seen some of his videos and they're really fruitful. And I really appreciate everybody coming here Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. That's the point, is to get people on here that you guys may not have seen and follow them. I'm going to put his Instagram below. I'll put his YouTube below. And if you guys have any questions, I did see one comment, I think it was from Rita, and she said that you are extremely good at answering questions. And I think that's really, really cool that as content creators, we can help out. Yeah.
I mean, I try to be super respectful with comments and questions. I'm kind of crazy. If you leave a comment on my YouTube, for now, I will answer it. If you could put hi, Jim, and I'm going to write hi back to you. So you could put anything. I'm going to respond to it in some way, shape, or form. So I appreciate every single comment, every single viewer, and all that. I don't know how long. I mean, if I had 100,000 subscribers, I don't think I would be doing that. But you know,
you guys know what this means, right? Like, blow up his videos.
Go leave a comment.
I'm gonna put like 50 comments on one video and see. I'm gonna test it and see if he responds to every single comment. Go to his last video, guys. In fact, let me see. I'm on his YouTube now. Let me pull up his videos here. All right, so his last video is what men's clothing items sell on Poshmark and eBay 2 days ago. Yeah. So go onto that video and put like 5 comments each, because I really want to test this and see how responsive. Oh yeah,
it'll be a late couple of nights.
We're gonna blow you up. Oh man. All right, guys. Well, that being said, I want to be respectful of this amazing Blazer seller's time. We do have one last thing here. He's at 920 subscribers, just subbed. Appreciate it. I can tell you that there's been multiple comments that you're absolutely hilarious. So I'm gonna have to watch more of your videos. But
I try to keep it entertaining. I mean, if I put out content, I definitely want to be positive, upbeat, and also somewhat humorous. I mean, I don't try to be funny. I just, I'm kind of a silly guy. So.
Oh yeah. Hey, you got to be who you are, and that's what makes people like you. So yeah. I have no idea how people like me. I just sit here and talk to amazing people like you. But so that being said, guys,
you're genuine, which is cool. You're really genuine.
I really appreciate that. And do you have any? I always ask this on my interviews. Any words of wisdom? Could be reselling related or not.
Yeah, I mean, overall words of wisdom is to love what you're doing. No matter if it's reselling or not, love what you're doing. If you don't like reselling, don't do it. And then secondly, love what you're selling. If you don't love what you're selling, then don't sell it.
I think that's huge, because everybody knows that I'm like, hey, if you're looking to start eBay up, even before you start up, sell what you're passionate about, so that way you don't lose interest, because I think that's huge. Sell what you already like before you start eBay. So, all right, guys. Well, that being said, again, another successful week. Again, you guys have met amazing resellers. And again, please subscribe to Jim's YouTube channel and be a part of his life. That's why I wanted to ask him personal questions. Awesome. Really cool stuff. And you guys have a great rest of your nights. Thank you so much.